Ji, you'll be manning the chat box. Okay, thumbs up from her. All right, Prabhu, anytime you're ready, we're recording.
Okay. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Vedati Svavadantikam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa, Privrajagacharya Astotra Sata Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa, Privrajagacharya Astotra Sata Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So, what's our verse today? Does anyone know what the verse is? I've lost my spot on my Kindle completely, which is, maybe I marked it. Maybe I got lucky and marked it.
Well, I haven't been here the last couple of days, but I have a mark at text 80. If that's where you stopped off at, I'm not sure.
I think we're in the 25th chapter, somewhere around text 19, if I'm not mistaken. Does that sound right? Oh, wait a minute. It's Thursday. Sorry. I don't even know what the book is. Look at me.
Caitanya Caritamrta.
Yeah. We missed the last class, so please bear with us as we find our bearings. There. Okay. Oh, I don't have it here either.
Chapter.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I think
Yes.
we're on verse 73 of chapter 7.
Okay, thank you.
But I remember from last week that we were supposed to read a commentary by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur,
Right.
and
That's
we
right.
ended the class before reading it.
That's right. We did.
And it was about dog eaters, So we were supposed to read the commentary to Srimad-Bhagavatam 3:33, 6 and 7.
Yeah, Praveen had it. It was I had a chance to read it after the class. It was really wonderful. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is expressing in accordance with Shastra how a person, no matter what their particular background, if they even once chant the holy name of the Lord, they're considered qualified in so many ways above and beyond ritualistic brahmanas and study of the Vedas and so forth. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's statements about it are quite emphatic. There's, in other words, it's not like qualified or it's not like a categorical qualification. Well, if he does this, he does that. He says no. He says emphatically they're qualified in so many ways. I'll see if I can find it on my Kindle. I have that. Let's see. First, I'll mark this. Then, if Praveen's on, he might provide the. Of course, the text goes for some way. There, got that marked. Please bear with me a little while longer when I go back to the library. I have to do everything on this one device. There. Let's see, first, fourth, fifth. Nothing's in order, of course. Second, third. And it's what was it? 331, 5 and 6? No, we were going to read from.
It was 6 and 7.
6 and 7, okay. We'll go there. See if it doesn't pull up that way for me. Anyway, let me
Have
try.
somebody
Let me
here.
try something else. Everyone. Okay, we'll get there. 331, 6, no. No.
333, 6 and 7.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So the verses are 333, 6 and 7. Very famous verses. Yananadeya Shavananu Kirtanad, Yat Pravanad, Yat Smaradad Apikvachit, Swarupi Sadja Savanaya Kopate, Kuta Punaste Bhagavan Nudarshanad. Translation: by hearing or chanting your name, by offering respects to you, by occasional remembrance of you, even the dog eater immediately becomes qualified for performing the Soma sacrifice. O Lord, what then to speak of the person who sees you? Commentary: by seeing you, the world becomes most fortunate. This is expressed through the method of Kaimutya, what to speak of. Pravanat means obeisances. Smaranat Kvachit means occasional remembrance. Even the outcast, Svadaha, becomes immediately qualified to perform the Soma sacrifice, Savanaya. This means he becomes worshipable, like a Brahmana, performer of the Soma sacrifice. This implies that this takes place because of destruction of prarabdha, sinful reactions experienced in this life as low birth. Sri Rupa Goswami says, Durjatireva Savanaya, Yogyatve Karanam Matam, Durjat Yaram Bakam Papam, Yat Syat Parabdamena Tat. It was understood that the low qualities of the dog eater is the cause of his disqualification for, it's not in here, it was understood that the low qualities of the dog eater is the cause of his disqualification for performing sacrifices. The sin by which he attains such low qualities in this life is called the prarabdha sin. So before it's mentioned that this implies that this takes place because of destruction of the prarabdha sinful reactions experienced in this life as low birth. By hearing or chanting your name, by offering respects to you, by occasional remembrance of you, even the dog eater immediately becomes qualified for performing the Soma sacrifice. O Lord, what then to speak of the person who sees you? That was chapter 23, text 6. And then there's text 7. Ahovata swapachotogriyan, yajjivagri vartate nama tubhyam, tipustapaste juhuhu sasna arya, brahmanuchur nama grinanti jete. Translation: how astonishing! The outcast, on the tip of whose tongue your name appears, becomes the guru. All those who chant your name, becoming most respectable, have completed all austerities, all sacrifices, all bathing, and all study of the Vedas. Commentary: it has just been said that the outcast becomes immediately qualified for the Soma sacrifice. But that is nothing, since much more is achieved than becoming qualified for sacrifice. This is most astonishing. Ahobata, the name has to appear just on the tip of the tongue of the outcast. It does not have to be fully on the tongue. It does not have to be pronounced fully. It is present, vartate, on the tongue, but not completely. Only one name is chanted once, not many times. If one were to chant many of your tubhyam names many times with the full tongue, how much more effect it would have. Tubhyam can also mean, quote, he chants to please you, or bring you under his control, end quote. The outcast who chants incompletely just one name is the best guru, Gariyan. He becomes qualified to teach the mantra with the name within it to others. Id est Diksha Guru. Quote, then let the outcast perform sacrifice, study of the Vedas and austerities, end quote. They've already done this. What to speak of one such person, others also who chant your name have performed all austerities and sacrifices. This is specifically mentioned. Because of the absence of a statement to indicate they did not perform all elements or angas of all sacrifices and austerities, they have completed all austerities with all elements. They have performed oblations in all sacrifices with all elements. They have bathed in all holy places. They, and not others, are worthy of respect. Aryaha. They have completed study of the Vedas, Brahma. The Amarakosh dictionary says, Anuchanaha means a teacher, a person proficient in recitation of the Vedas with its angas, end quote. The words are in the past tense, whereas Grinanti is in the present tense. They chant in the present, but have completed all the other actions, such as austerities. These other actions are no longer performed and will not be performed in the future. Why would they do those actions now? This indicates that the devotees have no qualification for such actions. The perfect tense indicates completion. They have no regard for them. They're a waste of energy. One should not explain that the present tense of Grinanti indicates that they continuously chant and that they only achieve the effect by chanting continuously and not by chanting just once. That is contradicted by other statements using the word sakrit only once. And we're given one such verse. Naivam vida purushakara urukramasya pungsantarangri rajasa jitashad gunanam chitram vidura vigata sakrid adadita yan namadeyam aduna sajahati bandham. Such power is not surprising from persons who have conquered the six senses by the dust from the lotus feet of the Lord, since even an outcast becomes immediately free of bondage of karma by chanting the Lord's name once. And then there's a reference there to Srimad-Bhagavatam 5:135. But anyway, there's some of it's a little bit technical, but I think everyone can kind of follow. Mispressed that place. Of course, these translations are worded a little differently than what we find in Srila Prabhupada's Srimad-Bhagavatam, but the same meaning is there for these two verses. And this is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, and he's very emphatically and with evidence from Rupa Goswami and other Shastric sources, emphasizing how an outcast person, a person of the lowest possible conceivable birth, becomes immediately qualified to perform. He's already performed all Vedic sacrifices. His qualifications are present in the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, the holy name of the Lord. Very interesting descriptions here. Of course, we also know from Shastra, from the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharyas, that there's a quality to the chanting. It's a cultivation, and that there are guidelines. There are offenses in chanting the holy names, offenses that should be avoided. So that devotee who cultivates, and that there's some statement to that effect that kind of alludes to that. How much more? Where is that? Oh. I'll get to it. Anyway, I can't find that reference, but anyway, that's the evidence given by that's the purport given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, rendered here in English with reference to quoted verses. Are there any comments, or does anybody want to say something? See what's on. Yeah. So those are the verses that Praveen Krishna Prabhu was giving for evidence related to Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, 7th canto, some verses 7th chapter, some verses we were reading. Now I'll go back to that book. And we're there. 773. Adi Leela. Would someone like to read this verse and purport? Sri Caitanya Caritamrta Adi Leela, chapter 7, text 73. No? Well, I'll read. Maybe if someone will read the next verse. Hare Krishna. Krishna mantra haite habe sangsara mochan. Krishna nam haite pabe Krishnera charan. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can obtain freedom from material existence. Indeed, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. I think we read this before, but anyway. Purport. In his Anubhashya, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami says that the actual effect that will be visible as soon as one achieves transcendental knowledge is that he will immediately become free from the clutches of Maya and fully engage in the service of the Lord. Unless one serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mukunda, one cannot become free from fruitive activities under the external energy. However, when one chants the holy name of the Lord offenselessly, one can realize a transcendental position that is completely aloof from the material conception of life. Rendering service to the Lord, a devotee relates to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in one of 5 relationships, namely Santa, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya. And thus he relishes transcendental bliss in that relationship. Such a relationship certainly transcends the body and mind. When one realizes that the holy name of the Lord is identical with the Supreme Person, he becomes completely eligible to chant the holy name of the Lord. Such an ecstatic chanter and dancer must be considered to have a direct relationship with the Lord. According to the Vedic principles, there are 3 stages of spiritual advancement, namely Sambandha Gyan, Abhidheya, and Prayojana. Sambandha Gyan refers to establishing one's original relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Abhidheya refers to acting according to that constitutional relationship. And Prayojana is the ultimate goal of life, which is to develop love of Godhead, Prema Pumarto Mahan. If one adheres to the regulative principles under the order of the spiritual master, he very easily achieves the ultimate goal of his life. A person who is addicted to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra very easily gets the opportunity to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly, There's no need for such a person to understand the grammatical jugglery in which Mayavadi sannyasis generally indulge. Sri Sankaracharya has also stressed this point. Nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane. Simply by juggling grammatical suffixes and prefixes, one cannot save himself from the clutches of death. Unquote. The grammatical word jugglers cannot bewilder a devotee who engages in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Simply addressing the energy of the Supreme Lord as Hare and the Lord himself as Krishna very soon situates the Lord within the heart of the devotee. By thus addressing Radha and Krishna, one directly engages in his lordship's service. The essence of all revealed scriptures and all knowledge is present when one addresses the Lord and his energy by the Hare Krishna mantra. For this transcendental vibration can completely liberate a conditioned soul and directly engage him in the service of the Lord. This is a long purport. Would anyone like to pick up the reading at this point?
Can read.
Yes, please. Do you see where we're at, Shara? It's
Bottom
at
of-
yes. Begins with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented himself.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented himself as a grand fool, yet he maintained that all the words that he had heard from his spiritual master strictly followed the principles stated by Vyasadeva in Srimad-Bhagavatam 176. Anartopastamam sakshad bhakti yogam adhoksaje lokasya janato vidvams chakrasat vata samhitam. The material miseries of the living body, which are superfluous to him, can be directly mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. But the mass of people do not know this, and therefore the learned Vyasadeva compiled this Vedic literature, Srimad-Bhagavatam, which is in relation to the supreme truth. One can overcome all misconceptions and entanglement in the material world by practicing bhakti yoga, and therefore Vyasadeva, acting on the instruction of Sri Narada, has very kindly introduced Srimad-Bhagavatam to relieve the conditioned souls from the clutches of Maya. Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master instructed him, therefore, that one must read Srimad-Bhagavatam regularly and with scrutiny, gradually become attached to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The holy name and the Lord are identical. One who is completely free from the clutches of Maya can understand this fact. This knowledge, which is achieved by the mercy of the spiritual master, places one on the supreme transcendental platform. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented himself as a fool because prior to accepting the shelter of his spiritual master, he could not understand that simply by chanting one can be relieved from all material conditions. But as soon as he became a faithful servant of his spiritual master, followed his instructions, he very easily saw the path of liberation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra must be understood to be devoid of all offenses. The 10 offenses against the holy name are as follows. 1. To blaspheme a devotee of the Lord. 2. To consider the Lord and the demigods to be on the same level, or to think that there are many gods. 3. To neglect the orders of the spiritual master. 4. To minimize the authority of the scriptures, Vedas. 5. To interpret the holy name of God. 6. To commit sins on the strength of chanting. 7. To instruct the glories of the Lord's name to the unfaithful. 8. To compare the chanting of the holy name with material piety. 9. To be inattentive while chanting the holy name. And 10. To be attached to material things in spite of chanting the holy name.
Thank you. Would you like to say anything about this verse? Anything comes to mind as you read this?
Well, it's really nice to read that one must read Srimad-Bhagavatam regularly to gradually become attached to chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra with scrutiny.
Yeah. I know we covered this verse and probably another one or two verses. I think Krishna Konteya mentioned starting at text 77, if I'm not mistaken. But it, this section, which describes the glories of the holy name and how to properly chant and so forth. It's a very nice section. I guess we can accidentally repeat it. Anyone like to read the next? Does anyone have any comments? Mother Surabhi Kunj, do you find anything in the comments in the chat room?
No, there's no comments.
Okay. Would Surabhi Kunj, would you like to read the next verse and purport?
Sure. We're doing 74. I think we didn't actually cover that verse previously.
Yeah,
there was a verse that was really similar. It had the 10 offenses mentioned in the purport, but it wasn't the same verse.
Yeah, we covered these verses.
So
we can
Continue.
let's skip ahead then to text 76.
okay.
Well, 75 to give 76 context.
Etavali eka shloka shikela more kante kari e shloka kari ha vichare. After describing the potency of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, my spiritual master taught me another verse, advising me to always keep it within my throat. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, kalo nasti eva gatiranyata. For spiritual progress in this age of Kali, there is no alternative to the holy name, the holy name of the Lord. For progress in spiritual life, the Shastras recommend meditation in Satya Yuga, sacrifice for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu in Treta Yuga, and gorgeous worship of the Lord in the temple in Dwapara Yuga. But in the age of Kali, one can achieve spiritual progress only by chanting the holy name of the Lord. This is confirmed in various scriptures. In Srimad-Bhagavatam, there are many references to this fact. In the 12th canto, chapter 3, verse 51, it is said, Kaler dosani de rajan astiye eko maha gunan kirtanar eva krishnasya mukta sangha param vraje. In the age of Kali, there are many faults, for people are subjected to many miserable conditions. Yet in this age, there is one great benediction. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can be freed from all material contamination and thus be elevated to the spiritual world. The Narada Pancharatra also praises the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra as follows. Trayo Veda Sad Angani Chadamsi Vivida Sura Sarvam Astakshiranta Stam Yachanyad Apivan Mayam Sarva Vedanta Sarartha Samsararnavatarana. The essence of all Vedic knowledge, comprehending the three kinds of Vedic activity, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and Upasana Kanda, the chandas or Vedic hymns, and the processes for satisfying the demigods, included in the 8 syllables, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. This is the reality of all Vedanta. The chanting of the holy name is the only means to cross the ocean of nescience. Similarly, the Kali Santarana Upanishad states, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. These 16 names, composed of 32 syllables, are the only means to counteract the evil effects of Kali Yuga. In all the Vedas, it is seen that to cross the ocean of nescience, there is no alternative to the chanting of the holy name. Similarly, Srimad-Bhagavatam, while commenting upon the Mundaka Upanishad, has quoted the following verse from the Narayana Samhita. Dwapari yer janer Vishnu pancharatres tu kevale kalo tu namamatrena pujyate Bhagavan Hari. In Dwapar Yuga, one could satisfy Krishna or Vishnu only by worshipping him gorgeously according to the Pancharatriki system. But in the age of Kali, one can satisfy and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, simply by chanting the holy name. In his Bhakti Sandarbha, text 284, Srila Jiva Goswami strongly emphasizes the chanting of the holy name of the Lord as follows. Nanu Bhagavan Namatmaka Eva Mantra Tatra Visheshena Nama Sabdyadyalankrita Sri Bhagavata Srimad Rishibis Chahita Shakti Vishesha Sri Bhagavata Samatma Sambandha Vishesha Pratipadakas Cha Tatra Kivalani Sri Bhagavan Namamyapi Nirapekshanya Eva Parama Purushartha Vala Paryanta Dana Samarthani Tato Mantreshu Namato Pi Adhika Samarthye Labdhe Katam Dikshadi Apeksha Uchyate Yadyapi Svarupato Nasti Tatapi Praya Svabhavato Dehadi Sambandena Kadarya Shilanam Vikshipta Chitanam Jananam Tat Sankochi Karanaya Srimad Rishi Prabhutivir Atrarchana Marge Vachit Vachit Kachit Kachin Maryada Stapitasti. Srila Jiva Goswami states that the substance of all the Vedic mantras is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Every mantra begins with the prefix Nama Om and eventually addresses by name the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By the supreme will of the Lord, there is a specific potency in each and every mantra chanted by great sages like Narada Muni and the other rishis. Chanting the holy name of the Lord immediately renovates the transcendental relationship with the living being with the Supreme Lord. To chant the holy name of the Lord, one need not depend upon other paraphernalia. One can immediately get all the desired result of linking with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It may therefore be questioned why there is a necessity for initiation or further spiritual activities in devotional service for one who engages in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. The answer is that although it is correct that one who fully engages in chanting the holy name need not depend upon the process of initiation, generally a devotee is addicted to many abominable material habits due to material contamination from his previous life. In order to get quick relief from all these contaminations, it is required that one engage in the worship of the Lord in the temple. The worship of the deity in the temple is essential to reduce one's restlessness due to the contaminations of conditioned life. Thus, Narada, in his Pancharatriki Vidhi, and other great sages have sometimes stressed that since every conditioned soul has a bodily concept of life aimed at sense enjoyment, to restrict the sense enjoyment, the rules and regulations for worshipping the deity in the temple are essential. Srila Rupa Goswami has described that the holy name of the Lord can be chanted by liberated souls, but almost all the souls we have to initiate are conditioned. It is advised that one chant the holy name of the Lord without offenses and according to the regulative principles. Yet due to their past bad habits, they violate these rules and regulations. Thus, the regulative principles for worship of the deity are also simultaneously essential.
Would you like to say something?
I think Srila Prabhupada is stressing the importance of chanting the holy name, as it is stated in Srimad-Bhagavatam, Krishna Varnant Visha Krishnan, Sango Pangasta Parsadam, Yagye Sankirtana Praye Yajanti Hisumeda Saha. The process for the age of Kali. Intelligent persons worship the incarnation of God that constantly sings the names of Krishna. And although he's not blackish, he's Krishna himself, and he's accompanied by his associates and weapons and confidential companions. So thankfully, that's the process for this age, because it seems easier than the processes in previous ages. That simply by chanting, we can realize our eternal identity and we can develop love of God. And Prabhupada is also stressing the importance of initiation, even though chanting the holy name is enough. We still need to be initiated due to our previous conditioning and contamination. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to comment? Is there anything in the chat, Surabhi Kunj?
No.
Okay.
I have something, Prabhu.
Okay, Krishna Kanteya Prabhu, go ahead.
This verse I can relate to because I'm not a real scholar or anything, but the chanting has really saved me, so to speak, because I have the ability to chant, and I'm really relating to the message that Prabhupada has given here. And before I was here, I'm in the association of you devotees. I always thought that you didn't have to be initiated to be a devotee, and I can relate to that because I was many years I was associating with devotees, almost 40 years, but I never had I never was initiated until the past almost 2 years, and so I was really appreciating that, because like Prabhupada was saying here, you don't have to be initiated to be a devotee, and I was really initiated, was appreciating that, because like I said, it's only been about 2 years that I have been initiated, but I've been about 40 years. I've been in the association of devotees, and I'm relating to the fact that Prabhupada says that hearing and chanting are the main things, and that's all I've been doing is hearing and chanting, and after all this time, I'm still here, so I'm really appreciating that. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Krishna Kanteya Prabhu. I should say you're most fortunate to have gotten Diksha initiation.
Most appreciative.
Most fortunate. Received the holy name from your spiritual master. Of course, the chanting of the heart, we've all received the holy name in one sense by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Sankirtan movement. But that's a very special step, and it places you under the shelter of someone who can give you very particular guidance, so that you can make very nice progress in Krishna consciousness. Where we have to take shelter in that way, and that is emphasized in the Guru Vastakam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the grace of the spiritual master, one obtains. By the grace of Krishna, one obtains bona fide spiritual master, and by the bona fide spiritual master's mercy, one obtains Krishna. So very good that after all these years, you've gotten that special mercy.
Special mercy, yes.
Anything else? Anyone else? Krishna Kante Prabhu, would you like to read something?
Not very good. But
Not very good.
I'm not very good at Sanskrit or anything like
Well,
that.
I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. I'll read either the transliteration of the Bengali or the Sanskrit, and you can read the translation and the purports. How does that sound to you?
I'll try.
Okay. So I think we're on 77. I'm not so good at it either, but I'll give it a try. Ayalam layakshun anukshan nan laite mor branta hoilaman. Go ahead.
Since I received this order from my spiritual master, I always chant the holy name. But I thought that by chanting and chanting the holy name, I have been bewildered.
Darya darite nari hoilam un mata hasi kandi nachi gai yoiche madamata. Go ahead.
While chanting the holy name of the Lord in pure ecstasy, I've lost myself, and thus I laugh, cry, dance, and sing just like a madman.
Tabe dharya dharimane karilum vichar Krishna name jnanachanna aile amar. Aila amar.
Collecting my patience, therefore, I have begun to consider that chanting the holy name of Krishna had covered all my all my spiritual knowledge.
Okay, there's a little purport there you can read too if you like.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hints in this verse that to chant the holy name of Krishna, one does not need to speculate on philosophical aspects of the science of God, for one automatically becomes ecstatic and without consideration immediately chants, dance, laughs, and cries, and sings just like a madman. Haribol.
Haribol. Thank you very much. That was excellent. Thank you. Anyone else want to read? What we got in here that we can draft into the reading.
You can draft
Mother.
Praveen.
I can
Can
try.
draft Praveen? Can you draft Praveen?
Yeah.
Let's draft Praveen. Is Praveen on?
Okay, you from the computer.
Hare Krishna, am I audible?
Yes, thank you.
Uh,
Text 80.
Text 80. Pagal hoila ami dharya nahi mone eta chinti nivedilu gurura charane. I saw that I had become mad by chanting the holy name, and I immediately submitted this at the lotus feet of my spiritual master. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as an ideal teacher, shows us how a disciple should deal with his spiritual master. Whenever there is doubt regarding any point, he should refer the matter to his spiritual master for clarification. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that while chanting and dancing, he had developed the kind of mad ecstasy that is possible only for a liberated soul. Yet, even in his liberated position, he referred everything to his spiritual master whenever there were doubts. Thus, in any condition, even when liberated, we should never think ourselves independent of the spiritual master, but must refer to him as soon as there is some doubt regarding our progressive spiritual life.
Thank you. Would you like to comment on the verse and purport?
One must always check with the spiritual master. Yeah, I think that's all I can think of.
Okay. Thank you very much. I've missed hearing your voice and finally got it back.
And we're here in Vrindavan.
Yes, we finally got it back, courtesy of our Guru Maharaj. You want to read it? You have to come close to this microphone. It's kind of funny.
Okay.
Step a little closer. Okay, Yoganananda will read the next verse, text 81.
Kiba Manshadila,
You have to speak up.
Kiba Manshadila Gosani, Kiba Tarabala, Japite Japite Mancha, Kari Lapagala. My dear Lord, what kind of mantra have you given me? I've become mad simply by chanting this Maha Mantra. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays in his Shastika, Yugayatam Nimisena Chakshusa Parvasayatam Sunya Yayitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahena Me. Oh Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. It is the aspiration of a devotee that while he chants the Hare Krishna mantra, his eyes will fill with tears, his voice falter, and his heart throb. These are good signs in chanting the holy name of the Lord. In ecstasy, one should feel the entire world to be vacant without the presence of Govinda. This is a sign of separation from Govinda. In material life, we are all separated from Govinda and are absorbed in material sense gratification. Therefore, when one comes to his senses on the spiritual platform, he becomes so eager to meet Govinda that without Govinda, the entire world becomes a vacant place.
Would you like to comment?
I don't know. Everything's pretty clear here.
There's one reference that it reminded me of that Shikshastakam verse. Nayanam Galada Shrudarya Vadanam Gad Gadarudaya Gira Pulakaira Nichitam Vapu Kada Tavanama Grahani Bhavishyate. Oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly as I chant your holy name? When will my voice falter and all the hairs on my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? So Prabhupada's mentioning here that these are good signs in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. is the aspiration of a devotee that while he chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, his eyes will fill with tears, his voice falter, and his heart throb. Not like, you know, those who mimic or imitate or impersonate, you know, they put on a show of these types of things, but one actually has this genuine feelings when chanting the holy name. So a devotee ever aspires for such a transformation, heartfelt. He's actually in love with Krishna and his holy name. Anything else? Next verse. Hasai nachai more koraya krandan eta shuni guru hasi balilabachan. Chanting the holy name in ecstasy causes me to dance, laugh, and cry. When my spiritual master heard all this, he smiled and then began to speak. Purport. When a disciple very perfectly makes progress in spiritual life, this gladdens the spiritual master, who then also smiles in ecstasy, thinking, how successful my disciple has become. He feels so glad that he smiles as he enjoys the progress of the disciple, just as a smiling parent enjoys the activities of a child who's trying to stand up or crawl perfectly. Text 83. Krishna Nam Mahamantra Eta Swabhav Jai Jape Tar Krishna Upajaye Bhav. It is the nature of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra that anyone who chants it immediately develops his loving ecstasy for Krishna. Yeah, we're getting over. It's a long purport, though. Well,
Maybe you should save this for next time because
I think, yeah, it's a long purport. We'll stop there. Is there anything else in the chat, Mother Surabhi Kunj?
No new comments, but Saraswati Mataji said she can do the ending kirtan.
Okay, very good. Please.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
You're muted, Pete.
Sorry. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Privrajagacharya Astotra Sata Shishimad. His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Privrajagacharya Astotra Sata Shishimad. His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samabeta Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Haribo. Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for coming on, spending some time with us.
Haribol, 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 Krishna.
Jai Krishna Kanteya Prabhu.
My glories to Guru Dev.
Jai. Hare Krishna. His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj says, sweet and enlightening topics.